A powerful and relentless storm system swept across central Texas on July 13th, 2025, unleashing catastrophic flash floods that turned quiet neighborhoods into dangerous rivers. In Lampasas County, especially around the city of Lampasas and nearby Kempner, residents watched in shock as the Lampasas River exploded from a calm flow of less than 2 feet to over 30 feet in just a few hours. Roads that locals had driven on for years disappeared under violent torrents of muddy water, leaving vehicles stranded or completely swept away. On Highway 183, northwest of Lampasas, cars and trucks were carried off the road as if they were toys. The scenes felt almost unreal. Families climbing onto rooftops, calling for help, while rescuers in boats and helicopters raced against time to save them. Authorities issued a flash flood emergency for Lampasas, Kerr, San Saba, Schleicher, and Sutton counties. By the time most people realized the severity, the water had already forced its way into homes and businesses. Many families in low-lying areas had only minutes to pack essentials before they were ordered to leave. Mobile home parks, senior housing units, and RV camps stood no chance against the unstoppable surge. It wasn't just the water itself. It was the debris, mud, and powerful currents tearing through walls and windows, scattering furniture and memories across fields and downstream. Rescue operations quickly turned into large-scale missions involving state and local agencies, including Texas Task Force 1, parks and wildlife teams, and volunteer firefighters. Dozens of swift water rescues took place as crews worked throughout the night, guided by nothing more than headlights and floodlights reflecting off the rising water. In some cases, residents were pulled from their cars moments before they were submerged. Helicopters hovered over rooftops, lowering baskets to lift stranded families one by one. For many, this disaster brought back painful memories of the floods that struck central Texas just 9 days earlier, on July 4th, which killed at least 132 people and devastated communities along the Guadalupe River. The emotional wounds from that tragedy were still raw, and now residents faced another sudden, brutal test. The relentless rain this time dumped anywhere from 6 to 12 inches in different parts of the hill country, with the most intense bands stalling over Lampasas and nearby counties. In some areas, water levels rose so quickly that even experienced first responders described it as some of the most dangerous conditions they had ever seen. Amid the chaos, mandatory evacuation orders were issued across multiple counties, pushing families to rush to designated shelters. Some residents refused to leave at first, hoping the water would recede, but by the time they decided to evacuate, escape routes were already underwater. Emergency officials stressed that the most important rule during flash flooding is simple: do not drive through flooded roads. Just 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock a person off their feet, and 2 feet can carry away most vehicles. Yet, again and again, people underestimated the force of the flood and found themselves trapped in terrifying situations. Local authorities also had to suspend ongoing search operations for victims of the earlier July 4th floods in Kerr County because of these new surges. It was a painful decision, but necessary to prevent further loss of life among rescue workers. Meanwhile, families who had lost loved ones just days earlier were now dealing with fresh waves of anxiety as rivers rose around their neighborhoods. While the floodwaters left many homes severely damaged or completely destroyed, the community spirit remained strong. Volunteers rushed to help evacuate elderly neighbors and deliver food and water to stranded families. Churches and community centers opened their doors to shelter evacuees, and local businesses offered their spaces as temporary refuge points. Social media lit up with pleas for help, rescue updates, and offers of spare rooms and supplies. Experts warn that these types of flooding events may become more frequent as weather patterns shift and extreme rainfall becomes more common across Texas. For Lampasas and surrounding areas, this disaster has underlined the importance of being prepared. Keeping an emergency kit stocked with water, food, medications, flashlights, and batteries is no longer optional, it's essential. Residents are also encouraged to sign up for local weather alerts and know evacuation routes well before storms arrive. As cleanup begins, the full scale of the damage is still being assessed. Many families will return to homes filled with mud, mold, and ruined possessions. Cars scattered miles from where they were parked are being recovered, and bridges and roads will need major repairs before they can reopen. Insurance claims will pile up, and emotional recovery will take even longer. But in the middle of this devastation, there's also a strong sense of solidarity. Neighbors helping neighbors, strangers offering rides and spare clothes, and rescue teams working around the clock without rest have shown the true spirit of the community. As forecasts show the possibility of more rain in the coming days, residents are urged to remain vigilant. Officials emphasize that anyone in flood-prone areas should stay away from low-water crossings and avoid traveling unless absolutely necessary. Even as the sun comes out and the water starts to recede, hidden dangers like weakened bridges and unstable ground can pose serious risks. The Lampasas flood disaster serves as a powerful reminder of nature's force and the resilience of people when faced with sudden tragedy. As the community works through the shock and loss, there's also an opportunity to strengthen preparedness, rebuild smarter, and support each other more deeply. That's the story unfolding today in Texas, one of destruction, bravery, and community coming together under unimaginable pressure.